Hello, my name is Anjani Segrist, and today I'm talking about cognition, perception, and how that directly relates to our emotional response. So, generally, it's like a folding in our perception of ourself and the world. A folding inward meaning like little packets of energy. I see them like boxes or bubbles sometimes that just keeps folding in and contracting down into one unit, which is you, your physical body, your intellect, all of your perception, and the way that you communicate with the world through the senses. So we have this sort of construct around who we are, and it's built up from past experiences, things we were told when we were very young that we just believe without questioning. That's a huge one. And then just through trial and error, the way things work creates a belief. And those beliefs are what sort of, it's like boxes. That's how it looks to me energetically, just boxes upon boxes of data and material. So when you have a feeling or emotion, it's really difficult to point to directly what it is. So emotion, energy in motion. And it's difficult to point to directly the thing that relates to the emotion because you have all these constructs that you're wearing on your physical body, in your physical body, that are irrelevant. A lot of times it's just outdated information, outdated material. So, what we want to do is get a new idea about the way we perceive things, and then from there we can see how to work with the emotions. So, something that I got in a dream had to do with time and the way we relate to time. So, I'm going to try to describe that here for anybody who's interested in that. So, the way I saw was like three circles, and there was one here, one over here, and then one in the center. So over on this side had to do with past karma, beliefs, things that have happened that we actually can relate to them, or some of it's unconscious. It's just your mind stuff, your material. It's where in yoga texts they call this the I can't remember the Vedic word or the Sanskrit word, but basically it's a material that causes a wave. So it's a groove, a mental groove, where now every time something that reminds you of that, it sort of shapes what's going to come out of you. So the way things come in, hit that groove, and then the way they come out, it just fits right in there. And you keep staying in this pattern. So this is where karma lives. This is where karma, it's generated from programming. Is you just keep going along that way. Then here in the center was, or is, the way the way this information is coming through right now is our connection to the above and the connection to the below. So this is where you can breathe fresh energy into your body, and not saying that this other circle with all your stuff is going to disappear, because this is part of the human experience. This circle is, it's part of it. We don't want to necessarily just get rid of it all. It does shape your unique sense, your unique essence of consciousness, the way that you are embodying consciousness itself. So this stuff shapes that. What we don't want to do is just stay circling in the pattern. We want to be able to move into this other realm, which I'll talk about next. So here in the center, what we're going to do is imagine the spine opening up at each end, and that there's a tube of light running through your body. This, in craniosacral therapy, we call this the dural tube. In yoga, this would be the Sushumna Nadi. In Egyptian alchemy, this would be the Ba rod, which connects you to the infinite, to, the source of creation. So in here, we're opening it up and allowing energy from source to come in through the top, energy from earth to come in through the bottom. And as you inhale, filling up with both of those energies. On the exhale, allowing everything else that is in source energy to just dissipate. So this is being the hollow bone, keeping your center clean and clear with fresh energy. If you could stay in this place, it would be really great. I do practice a lot getting back here, and before I start any astrology reading or body work session, I go to this place. And as much as possible during my work in body work or in astrology, I'll come back. I keep coming back to this center. So then on this other circle, what I saw was potential energy, a field of infinite possibilities where you can create anything. What usually happens though is that we're stuck over here, just spinning around in our mental constructs, our pattern, the karmic patterning. So the more time you can spend getting over here, the more you can plant what you want to grow over here. So I'm going to stop with that. This is something that I've, in my asking, in my meditation, I like having something that I'm working with, and it's not like I think about it. It's just, this is what it is right now, having to do with karma, with time, and with perception. So this is unfolding. It's not finished. This is, I'm giving you what I've got so far. Use it with respect and gratitude, because this is really, I hold this to be sacred. So the next thing is the emotions, energy in motion. So this is a big topic. There's no way to stop that from happening. There's no way to end emotion. It's going to be, for some people, it is more prevalent. For me, for instance, I have in astrology what is known as a grand water trine. People with grand water trines are totally going to be in the emotional realm. It's the realm of water, which is empathic, psychic, intuitive, intensely connected to the emotional body. So for those of you who automatically know that resonates with me, yes, I know I have intense and strong emotional capabilities. I used to see it as a massive challenge, a major negative thing about me, because feeling everybody's emotions creates a confusion in the self. It's like you walk in a room, people are angry, all of a sudden you feel angry. You walk in a room, people are depressed, all of a sudden you feel depressed. I didn't like going to hospitals or funerals. It can really cause dysfunction with life. So if you do have that sort of thing happening in your life, something that's been really helpful for me is getting into this center. Knowing my own energy has taken some practice, a lot of practice, and a lot of different yogic techniques can really help with creating a boundary, establishing a boundary where your energy is in a certain place, so to speak, a container, and you're able to know yourself so well that when you step into an environment and you're able to have a thicker skin, so you know what's yours and you know what's not yours. So the next piece, when emotions do happen, I always like to investigate the source of the emotion. So let's say when I get around this certain person, I always feel nauseous. What is it about this situation, And some people might just say, I always feel nauseous when I hang out with this person, so I'm just not going to hang out with the person. But for me, I'm curious. You might call it a morbid curiosity. I'd like to know, what is it? Because there's something in that for me. Anytime you have a strong, visceral sense, emotional response, every time it's something that catches your attention, it's for a reason. It can be communication with the divine. So why would you want to just, you know, like just get away from it as soon as possible? Because if it is a message, it's going to come through in another form and you can't just keep running. So another dream I had the other night, I was running from a werewolf, and I had the sort of lucid moment where I was like, wait, I'm running and I want to turn around and face this. And when I did that, the werewolf stood up on like a man on his feet, and he called me a beast. And then he did, that was, I woke up and was like, wow. So in real, in your waking life also, it can be like that, where you just keep running from something, and until you face it, you're going to keep running from it. So when you have those emotional responses, one technique that I really like a lot is to close my eyes and get into my tube of light, the Ba, the Sushumna Nadi. If you're really just, you can say your spine, even. Just imagine getting into your spine, breathing to clear this, just to connect, taking some breaths, and then seeing where the energy is. Meaning that it might be in your belly, it might be in your heart, it might be in your throat, it could be in your head. Just tuning into your body and see where you feel the energy. So I'll use that feeling of feeling nauseous when I'm around this certain person. So I get around the person, I get into my tube and breathe. And then I notice that energy hitting in my belly. What is this? What is this? I just ask, looking at it with my eyes closed. So it's like a tuning into that energy in my belly. Automatically, that I can sense that it's something about power, and I feel a power struggle with this person. So without having to know anything else, all you're going to do is get in touch with the feeling. What does it feel like? Is it sharp? Is it hot? Where does it go? How does it move? And keep breathing, noticing the feeling, and don't try to stop it. Don't try to tell yourself, what I just did. I'm talking about a specific person, and I've already done this technique. I know that this particular person and I have a power struggle, so I feel that in my belly. But when you're doing the exercise, disassociate any words. So you don't want to attach a word to the feeling. Let the feeling of the energy just be experienced. Eventually, the feeling might go away and it might not. If it doesn't go away, because sometimes I notice that it will just dissipate. It just moves and then it's gone, and I don't have to think about it anymore, because sometimes energy just wants to be felt, just wants to be noticed and honored. If it doesn't go away, this point is where I would start asking it questions. What are you here for? What do I need to know about this? Is there anything I can do to serve you? Talking to yourself as you would somebody you love. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't imagine that it's your child or your beloved or your grandmother or somebody who you really love. Eventually, the hope is that we would love ourselves in that same way. But I find that most people, it's really difficult. So talk to yourself in the way you would talk to somebody that you love. Ask the questions, write down any answers you get, and if you get specific guidance, follow it. So with, when I did the exercise about the power struggle, the guidance that I got was to own my power. And I would get specific things to do to own my power so that I did not feel disempowered in relationship to the person. I could have just ran away from the person and not done this work, but what has happened is that I become fully empowered and learned a new way to own power and to work with that. So I'm just going to end by showing the chart of the day. This is May 7th, 2017. We have Mercury conjunct Uranus. This is radical, unexpected changes in the way we perceive and communicate. And it's at a square angle to Pluto and Juno. Pluto and Juno have been together. So let's just talk about Pluto. Well, Juno is known as a relationship indicator. So we could say this had to do directly with relationships. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today in that relationship example with a person. It could be with, your relationship to food, your relationship to yourself. So anyway, with Pluto having to do with intense emotions, it's the underworld, initiation, having to do with death and rebirth, transformation. So on this day, especially feeling this energy having to do with our mental programming, cognition and perception, communication, possibly being changed abruptly. Today is a great opening for changing your perception, for seeing yourself in a new way. And I have a book that I've created. I will call it Creating, because every now and then there's another piece that gets added to it. So the writing, I did some writing about those three circles, and I drew it out in the book. And it's big. It's a lot of material for you to get to know yourself. And I highly recommend checking that out. And if you're interested, I can give you, send me an email and I can send you portions of it for free. But it's available on my website to purchase. It's called Creating Your Own Mythology. And it's a workbook to help you get connected to your original life intentions, to find out all these layerings that we've been placed upon us and that we have taken in as our own truth. That's sort of, it's like those boxes that just fold into each other and create this construct. The idea is that we're able to open the boxes, release that energy, and so we start to fold the other direction and get light and clear. And I've been doing a cleanse, so doing a cleanse and doing this work together are amazing. It really is a death and rebirth transformation. So I would love for you to look into that. Please leave any comments. I always answer, and it thrills me. I love communicating with you. So thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you soon.